So hi, Masha. I believe we are live. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Nancy?
Good. Now I want to see. Okay, so we are practicing on a new software. Oh, okay. How do I turn off my Instagram then? Okay, I think we're live on Instagram, Facebook.
You are. My phone just confirmed you are live.
I am live on YouTube. Okay, so one of them didn't work, it says, apparently. I don't know which one, but we'll figure that out later. All right. So welcome everybody. We are live today. We are trying a new software out to see if we can go live in more platforms and with more success than I've been having lately. This is Messaging Mastery with Masha. Masha, tell everybody what you do for a living.
I am a copywriter and messaging strategist for interior designers. So my signature service is website copy, and I write website copy for designers with my signature process.
Love it. Okay, we are definitely having trouble being live on one of the platforms. I'll figure out which one after, but I think we're doing okay. Let's talk about how you help people develop your signature process.
Absolutely. And I think before
Or
we get
their
started,
signature process, right?
their signature process.
Correct.
Yeah, I have my own signature process it's actually, I have my own signature process. I started somewhere and I developed that process. And now in my community, I am becoming known for that. So I think there's so much potential when we know that interior design industry is, very competitive industry, and it's very hard to stand out and amongst your peers. And I think there's so much potential when you make your process your differentiator, your X factor, the thing that you're known for. And yeah, that's what we do. If we help you become known for your process, you've got that thing, that secret sauce could be your process.
So an interior designer may say, well, what is different about my process than any other interior designer? But I know from coaching interior designers, and you know that everybody's process is even slightly different, even if they coach with me or another coach and they've learned their process, there are still differences.
Well, first of all, you bring you into your process. Let's start there. You make your process different. So that's number one difference. But the second thing, so maybe we start from the beginning. My first tip to develop your signature process is actually write out your process. And I actually had one of the interior designers in my network. I posted about it on social media. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where I gave them kind of this process of here's what you do to develop a signature process. And the very first thing that you do is actually write out your process from start to finish. Like, think about, even when you think, well, I do consultation, like what's a typical process? Consultation, design, research, presentation, project implementation, all those things that most interior designers do. But when you actually write it out, and even the steps, okay, what happens in the consultation? Well, we go through this and this and this. I ask about your inspiration as a client. I ask about how do you want to use your space. I ask about your favorite styles. Like, literally write out everything. So you've got the main steps in your process, the main phases of your interior design process, and then you've got kind of like mini steps in between. So every phase of the interior design process will have many steps. So I really encourage interior designers to write it out completely. And then we're going to zero in on each one of the phases and think of ways to redefine. Find the things that you do a little bit differently. You don't need a drastic change.
Right.
You just need to find one tiny way to make it different. Like, I'll give you an example. I was working with an interior designer from Florida a few years back, and one of her differentiators was that she had this questionnaire her interior design clients filled out, and it was all about finding your style, finding, kind of like defining your style. She was helping her clients to define their style. And it was very different because her questionnaire was different. Like, she asked specific questions. So I encourage you to go out, literally write out your process and find the one or two or three things that you do just a little different.
And then make that special on your website. Make that
part
of your differentiating factor.
Part of your difference. So first of all, the first step is writing out your process and finding out all the little steps in between. Like maybe think about how you do presentation. Maybe you put on, I don't know, a whole spread and you order, I don't know, bagels, and you do this and you make it fun, or you do some role playing. I don't know. I'm just making it up. But you can get creative and innovative with your process. So once you've written everything out and identify those little differentiators, then I encourage you to give it a signature name. Not a lot of designers do that, but I just love that idea. And I recently worked with an interior designer from Canada who actually, we decided to give it a signature name. So now she's known for that process with a signature name.
I love that.
And, you know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy different, but you just have to make sure that that name resonates with your interior design clients. And this is the step where I encourage you to actually go to ChatGPT.
Yes.
Do
yes,
that.
It helps with naming things and just fun, creative.
It's excellent for helping you name things, as long as you prompt it in a certain way. You basically, you know, you input, you know, this is the kind of designer you are. These are the cool things that you do as part of your process. Give me 10 names and then work with those. Like ChatGPT is so good for brainstorming. So definitely do that.
I love this idea. And I do think that there are ways that designers differentiate their process that they don't even realize. Like some designers hand draw everything.
Yes.
A client may love that. Other designers do photorealistic renderings.
Mhm.
Others do it a different way. Like even in that process alone, how do you do it? Is your process any special, like a different and special compared to someone else?
And I think when, like what you said in the beginning, some designers think, well, my process is not different. Like everybody is doing the same thing. We all start with a consultation. We all start with getting to know the client. We all starting with getting to know their style and how they want to use the space. And then we all do, you know, like creative ideas and the design. Then we do the presentation. I guarantee you that you can find something that you do differently that no one else does. But you have to put it on the paper. There's something about writing it out and putting it all on the paper, this kind of like a creative exercise that I'm like, oh, I never, because it's second nature to you. You don't think about it. It's like, well, everybody does that. But I guarantee you, if you actually do that exercise, you're going to find a few things that you do differently.
I agree with you. So, and it reminds me of when I hired my book writing coach. He was saying, when people call you to help them through difficult situations, how do you know how to advise them? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, no, you have a process. It's just so easy for you at this point in your head that you just
it's ingrained in you. And but here's another thing that you could do. Well, when you hired a coach, he or she has asked you, okay, so what do you do? How do you help the person, you know, find a solution? You must ask some like certain questions.
Well, it ends up that he said for the next 2 weeks, anytime anyone asks your advice, figure out what you're actually doing when you give them advice. And I was able to figure out, and that was the basis of my entire book, right? So if someone writes out their process and they're getting ready to put it on their website, they write it out for you, then you're going to be able to pull out the things that make them different and make them feel special.
Yeah. So I love what your coach did for you. So you could do the same thing with your own clients. So think of those. I don't know if you've got, if interior designers who are listening right now, if they've got, for example, feedback surveys that they sent at the end of the project, or maybe they have exit interviews, or maybe they have a way to kind of note down the questions that clients ask throughout the entire process. Those things can help you figure out what's resonating with your clients. Maybe they ask specific questions and you have a way of answering. Maybe during the feedback survey at the end of the project, you ask them, hey, what surprised you about working with me? Those things should be part of your process, because those are the things that clients actually remember. You think they remember you for, I don't know, making it easy, but it could be something completely different. So for example, like as part of my process, when I write website copy, I interview your clients, and the things that they tell me are so surprising. So, and I always give this feedback to my clients, and like, well, you thought that your clients love you for this and this, but it's completely different. It could be how, I don't know, you've alleviated pressure from them, or how fun you made like tile shopping or fabric selection. Like it could be the most surprising things.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, you know, again, it's just figuring out what you do different. It's just, not easy when you're doing it yourself and you're
too close to it.
You're
Sometimes
too close to it, right? How am I different? Ask somebody, right? How is my process different? Talk to your clients about how they enjoyed your process, and the things they enjoyed about your process could end up being the things that rise to the surface.
Exactly. And you know what I also love? When you have figured this thing out and you gave it a name, make it your USP. Make it your unique value or unique sales proposition, because we
Yes.
all, like every service provider needs a unique sales, we call it differently, right? UVP, USP, secret sauce, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I feel that when interior designers actually make their process their unique value proposition, it's so much more memorable. It's the thing that sets you apart. Now you're known for it. Now clients come to you wanting that thing. Maybe it's the experience that you create for clients. And when it's this and not the style or not something else that's, a lot more competitive, when it's your process,
Yes.
you can't argue. Like it's going to set you apart.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like my process as a coach. I teach pricing first.
That's right. You're known for it.
Then marketing, because I don't teach marketing first, because I have to teach you how to price yourself properly, then teach you how to sell and close a sale before I teach you how to market, right? So it's my process as a coach. What is their process as an interior designer? I love naming it. Can you give us an example of a name or two?
So my own process is called Reveal. I knew that interior designers is my audience, so that name will resonate because it's kind of like a play on words. That's what designers do at the end of the day when they've designed a beautiful project and then they reveal their new transformation of their home to their clients. It's the reveal day. So I named it a reveal, kind of like, now I reveal the website to you based on all the research that I've done. Another client of mine, so she named the one that I worked on with in June, we named her process Elevate. And it's a beautiful, it's so aligned with her brand. Obviously, there was a lot of work coming up with that name. And but it could be anything. It could be, I don't know, your home blueprint or
there's so many names. I mean,
so many names.
When we try to name new things, it's
I love it though. It's so much fun creating that name. And when you make it your thing,
yes,
it's got to be front and center, which brings me to my next point. Then you can do all the marketing with that. Make sure it's on your website, it's on your social media, because having a process is one thing, but actually making it part of your brand, you can be literally known for that thing. So it should be in your on your homepage, across your core pages. It should be on your social media. It should be in your welcome guide. It should be in your client onboarding guide. It should be I don't know, in all of your client communications, in all of your marketing materials. It has to become part of your brand.
Got it. Got it. I like it. I like it. All right. Any other tips? Did we miss any?
I think my last tip would be to continuously evolve your process, and that requires getting feedback from your clients. So definitely, you talk to your clients obviously throughout a year-long process of interior design, or during the exit interview or collection of feedback, but continuously asking for feedback and finding out what is that thing that resonates, what type of changes, because I've evolved my process since I started it, because I realized the needs of my clients have changed. Maybe they wanted different things. Maybe they were asking for more. Maybe they were asking for less, what have you. But continuously evolving your process, meaning it continuously stays relevant with your clients and you're continuously delivering value. So definitely evolving, changing, making modifications, making improvements is key.
Definitely key. And we find in my organization and in a lot of my clients as designers, they have a growth year and then they have a stability year, a growth year and a stability year. And in those stability years, you can really go, let me just go back and check my branding again. Make sure I'm consistent across the board. See if my process needs to be fine-tuned. Do I like the way it's named? Is it attracting people? Like doing that whole analysis at that high level for your business is really important every single year. Hard to do, but important.
It is. I think after every project, when you're doing your postmortem and when you're doing this little analysis, if you do like what worked, what didn't, what improvements can I make? This is a good time to say, okay, do I need to make changes in my contract? Do I need to make changes in my process? Do I need to make changes on my website, to my messaging, in my marketing. So that should definitely be an ongoing process. Annual for sure, but I would say even after every project, it's good to just check in and see, okay, what changes need.
Great idea. Great idea. All right, Masha, tell everybody how to find you when they need help with the words on their website, because it's not as easy as we make it sound sometimes.
Absolutely. Yes, you can find me on my Instagram, masha.copywriter, or on my website, contentvertical.com. I am in the process of of swapping all the copy, but I'm still there. But Instagram is the best place for sure.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Masha. And I will see you in the new year.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All
Nancy.
right. Have a happy holidays.
You too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.